Well, hello, 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 my CNC brothers and sisters. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and welcome to another live session Wednesday where we're going to talk about CNC business and getting into the right mindset and understanding what business really is so we can help you as a CNC creator and wanting to be a business owner to get successful in the right way and understand how successful businesses are built. So these Wednesday evening sessions are a mentoring session with one of our CNC sisters, Kate, and I am still waiting for her. She has had a very busy day, and so she is will be coming online shortly, and then we'll talk a little bit about that. I do want to say hello to a few people. First of all, I just got to share my eyes are bogged out pretty bad right now. I mentioned this last week, struggling with some cataracts that are starting up, and I get injections in both eyes every 6 weeks, kind of alternates, but the injections, they kind of mess things up even more. So I feel like I'm looking through a fog right now. So trying to read the comments in front of me, I got to get even closer to the screen, like right that close kind of closeness in order to read some of this stuff. It's starting to clear up. So we've had a little background dialogue. First, I want to say hello to some people. Jack is Jack. You've been hanging around for a while. You and I, we got to go out and have a drink with the rest of my CNC brothers and sisters. And Chris, hello, Chris, and Tammy, who is from New Jersey. She's from an. I used to live in New Jersey, and she's from an area a bit southeast, I believe, from where I used to live. And who else we got coming online? We got Mayo PSY, so Mayo Psych, Mayo Clinic Psychology. I'm guessing that's what that may be. And scrolling back up to see who else is here. Now we have Chris, another Chris. Hello, hello. And Kate is now joined in the background. And so I'll bring her on in just a moment. First, I'd like to kind of give you a little introduction as to who I am, because I have not been doing that in these live sessions for those who jump in. And who am I to be providing business guidance for CNC creators? So I'm Garrett Fromme, who is the CEO and, oh, the other way, founder of IDC Woodcraft, a business I started 2 years ago. And I have grown this business quite rapidly. And the only reason I was able to do that is by laying the groundwork that I have been doing with Kate, and hoping that you will pick up the same stuff that we're working on there before I even started my business. Business is all up here, right? We have to become in our identity a business owner. So that's why, if you've been around a little while, and I have said, if you come out of an employee environment, shifting into business is a bit of a struggle, because business is not, it's not the same thinking as an employee, where you do work your week and then you get your paycheck, go home, and forget about things on the weekend. Say a few more hellos here before we move on. Is we got Mark and Glenn and Roger. Good to see you, brother. And Roger is someone I talk to quite a bit. We've been friends for quite a while now. And we got Leo and Paul. Okay. Um, so I, after being mentored for quite a while, and then I started shooting content on YouTube. And because of the mentoring, I was able to see things that I didn't see before. And from that, I was very aware of, as I was getting into CNC with the woodworking, that I was having challenges, even though I spent 20 years in CNC machining that was in metalworking. Woodworking's a bit different. And also paying very close attention to the problems that other people were having, and also the type of people that were entering into the CNC space, the point in life that they were entering into it, and why were they entering into it. And from that, I was able to identify very quickly the problem areas that I could address based on my not only my knowledge, but understanding about business and marketing, business psychology, which is a big thing, which is what we're working on with Kate. And so now my mentor, if you'd like to know, his name is Dan Locke. You can find him on YouTube. He's 20 years younger than me, and he is very close to becoming a 10-figure earner per year. Right. So we get mentored by the people who are where we want to be. And there's a rule of thumb in when if you truly want to understand and learn business, is you want to be the dumbest and poorest person in your circle of people, because those people will naturally pull you up. And if you hang around people that are broker than you and dumber than you, or they're going to draw your energy down. So, and your ability to grow. So, with that, with the business understanding that I have, and I am now in an organization now, which is fairly high level, fairly difficult to get into. It's called Dragon 100, which is all entrepreneurs, people who are make at least $100,000 per year in a business. That's the criteria to get in. That's the first criteria. And then they have different levels, people who've earned $1 million, $10 million and up. So what I do, and what is really important, is I put most of my expenditure in business into here, learning, getting mentored, going to business events to understand other ways people think about business, and to get educated. I need to expand my context as you do and build that identity of a business owner. Because once you have the identity, the business growth becomes natural because it's on the inside. You naturally create it on the outside. We have Stefan and Joe. Good to see you, Joe. And I believe, Joe, you're going to be coming to see me this weekend. I'm looking forward to that. All right, Kate, I am going to bring her on. Hello, Kate.
Hi.
Been a crazy
How
day
are
for you,
you?
hasn't it?
Yes, it's been a very crazy day. So thank you for holding down the fort while I was rushing in like a wild woman. I literally just got home from my son's therapy appointment. It's about 45 minutes from my house. So I was like, Cruella behind the wheel, like, get out of the way. I got things to
All right,
do.
right. So you're just settling in, and
Yes.
give your 2-minute speech for those who haven't been at this before. Before I do that, I want to say hello to Patrick. He's another one who's been around for quite a while, one of my CNC brothers out there that has pretty much been there since this channel started.
Wow.
So that's a
That's
little over
awesome.
years ago. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But Kate, say hi, introduce yourself real quick to the crowd, why you're here, what you're doing.
Sure. So, hello everyone. It's nice to see you, and thank you to the hellos in the comments. Hello back. I will say I have been doing doing the CNC with my Onefinity Journeyman X50 for um, close to about a year and a half. Not quite there yet, but I dove in with zero experience in the CNC world, and it has been a whirlwind. I actually had a small craft business that was pretty successful beforehand, but I decided I wanted to up the ante on my signs and do a little more 3D carving, do some just unique items that I knew I could create with a CNC and really try to level up my business a little bit. So that's where I'm at. I am trying very diligently to grow my business. I am all in. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm really just trying to niche down. I had a very broad category. As Garrett knows, when I started, I was like 6 miles wide, and now I'm maybe at least a couple miles wide. And we're trying to figure out how to make my CNC business successful. So thank you for joining us.
All right. And it looks like brother Sam has joined us as well.
Oh,
Uh,
hey, Sam.
yeah. Okay, so you said something interesting just now. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I'll get to this in a minute. What we're going to be talking about in this particular session and diving into is how to attract the right customer and keep that customer, and it's not what you think. Okay, we have
Yeah.
to understand who our customer is and how they think, where their what their interests are, what we call their pains, what they want away from, what they want towards.
Right.
And so we call that the customer avatar. And so we're going to define that here, and then we're going to start drilling into your avatar. But we're going to talk also about the biggest struggle that a lot of people have when it comes to doing the avatar work. So the avatar work is vital, vital, vital if you want your business to succeed. And we will dive into that. So the first thing you said before, you said you were 6 miles wide, and
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
There's three phrases when it comes to this kind of stuff, right? You have uh, a huge a huge pond, right? That's
Yes.
that's we're trying to cover everything, and it's too deep for us to manage the whole thing. Then we have a
Yeah.
puddle, which is too shallow and small, right? And then there's the well, right? And the well is
Hmm.
deep, deep and narrow. And
Okay.
in business, that's what you want to gear your business around, getting deep and narrow. And what that means is that goes back to niche, right?
Yeah.
To create your niche. So if you're trying to create a whole lot of different things in lots of different areas, you are going way too broad and you can't get deep enough. And so this avatar work that we're going to be doing is what drills down deep into that niche.
Right.
So
And I've struggled with this a lot. I won't lie. Like, just for the people in the room, this has been very difficult for me because I am a natural born creator and I love to do all the things. So this has been very difficult for me. It's not been an easy thought process to try and narrow down my thoughts. It's very difficult.
mhm. Yep. The things that we're going to be talking about, Kate is kind of in two directions here, and we have to refine these two directions. And the one direction is the creating, making stuff for people, and the other
Yes.
one is because I see you as a teacher, right? And so I'm encouraging you to get into that space.
Yeah.
Um, but for the sake of individuals that are CNC brothers and sisters who are watching, that the principles that we are talking about here apply across the board in any business. So
Mhm.
I want to rehash a little bit about last week. So last week was about pricing, and if we didn't dive deep into the technical aspects of pricing because because it's not relevant until you understand your avatar.
Okay.
Because yeah, because we have to understand the avatar and what their mindset is about the things that they like and the type of money that they're willing to spend, and what their
So true.
identities are. Yeah, what their identities are, and then we from that we narrow down into the things that really push their emotional buttons, because everybody buys out of emotion, not logic. And so once we understand that avatar, then we can come back and do the pricing, right? But technically, pricing, I mean, if you want to get totally technical, 2.5 times or better of your costs, right?
There you
Okay,
go.
just a couple of the hellos. Got
Baseline.
Stefan, yep, Stefan and Jet. Okay, and by the way, Crazy Hair is supposed to jump in there and watch a little while. Okay,
Always fun. Always fun.
yep, yep. Okay, so how how to get the right customer and keep that
Okay.
customer? Uh, we have to know who that customer is. That is the right customer. And we have to
Yeah.
know how to treat that customer, what they want, to make them feel good, that will keep them coming back. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is it. And I said in the beginning, uh, when it comes to business, many of us just want to dive in and start making stuff and selling, and you did that, right? Just
I
start
did.
creating
Yeah.
stuff and not
Yeah.
really having a direction. And this is why the foundation work is so important. And so it's really
Yeah.
kind of weird for some people to, when they start mentoring, go, why am I doing this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because it's foundational. Without the foundations, you're building a house on sand, and that's why you had to keep rebuilding things, or just kept chasing around. Russell's joined us, and Amy has joined us. Um, Hello, Amy. Okay,
That's one of my girls.
Amy's one of your girls.
That's one of my girls. That's one of my ladies who CNC. She's awesome.
All right, yeah. Okay. Um, so let's talk about what an avatar is. First of all, you and
Okay.
I have talked a little bit, and I want to say we talked yesterday for a little while,
We
and
did.
was it yesterday or the day before? And I want to say that Kate, you are actually starting to get the first level. You don't realize it, but you've taken a little bit of a shift. And
Good.
wanted to talk to me about a couple of business ideas, and she was, as I listened to her, I could hear the way her thinking process was going, which indicated that she's starting to see some of the stuff in the right way. So yay, Kate, you're starting the
Thank
right
you.
road. All right,
Good.
so
Good.
an avatar. Before I dive in, well, I'm going to define what an avatar is at the top level. The
Okay.
avatar, as we say in business, is your ideal customer, right?
Hmm.
It's that person that that identifies with something or other that you can provide to them. And
Okay.
typically, most people start off with the avatar work based on who they are, right? Um, I quit work. I didn't retire. I don't subscribe to retire, but I'm at retirement age, right? And a lot of people get into retirement, get into the CNC stuff, right? They just need to create, right? And I
Right.
understand that, and I understand why they do that, right? So my ideal customer is that person who's falling into that. But the avatar, when we sit down and actually do what we call avatar work, we're defining one individual person with a certain character makeup, uh, a certain things going on in their life. Uh, and we have to understand that in order to understand the psychology, because when we do this avatar work, what you were doing was, well, I want my avatar, and everybody does it, to be, I'm thinking maybe
Yeah.
between this age and that age, and 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 we don't do that. Now, I want to ask you, when I was telling you last week, and then during the week when we talked, and
Sure.
you were in that space. Why was it hard for you to shift from looking at a group of people, when we're trying to do avatar work, down to an individual?
So, a little bit more of a complex answer for me. So, I have two older boys. They're 23 and 21. And then I also have a 15 and a 13-year-old. So, when I say women who have grown children who are trying to move to the next level and define their role in their family, like, what am I going to be doing with my time, especially if they were stay-at-home moms or whatever walk of life they were in. I wanted it to be relatively close to my age because there are women that have kids that are like in their 20s and they're older and they're, getting back into the workforce or wherever they are in life. But then there's also that woman who has these teenagers that are just like, they come home and they're like, do, 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 and they're gone. So we're still trying to find our way because they would be out unless you can provide food or a ride. They really don't want much to do with you. And that's just the hard truth of this this phase of their life. So that's why I was torn between two different avatar ages, because I feel like 40, 42, but also 39 would be, I know they're relatively close, but you said, nope, you've got to pick one. So what's it going to be? Oh, I can't hear you. Hey.
Yeah, I muted
There you go.
myself. I had a cough and I forgot to unmute myself.
Okay.
What I was going to say is, often when we're drilling down into one person as the ideal customer, most people resist trying to do that to one person. They come in. Okay, if I got to do that, then I want to go between this age and that age, without getting down to that one person first. And I want to just reemphasize why we do avatar work. We do avatar work because that's going to help us understand what makes them tick, what makes them make decisions. And again, all buying decisions, all decisions in life are emotionally based. Nothing is logical. We just back it up with logic.
That's fair.
Yep. Yep. And you'll see it all the time. And the more you see that in you, the more you'll see it in everybody else.
Gotcha.
And right, and that's why you can tell someone the sky is blue, and they'll just sit there and say, no, it's green. They just absolutely, because yeah, that's the kind of psychology you can see after a while. But my pad turned off. Okay, so once we understand that, we know what they like, we know what they want, we know how to narrow down, and we know how to find that group. Because once we understand that, we learn where that person and that group of people hang out at. Right. And then that's where we focus our attention. In my case, I know that there's two places my avatar hangs out at. First, on YouTube to learn how to CNC, and then second in the Facebook groups, right? So I don't pay any attention to Instagram. I don't pay any attention to TikTok. Maybe once in a while I'll post on there, but it is not my primary thing, and it gets about 0.0001% of my attention. Right, it's kind of if I feel like it, right? Because I know I know exactly where they're at. Okay, and so the other thing is you know what that avatar wants, then you know what kind of products to make, okay, for them, to more specialized to them, but more importantly, you know how to talk to them. We want to talk at their emotional language. And when we can talk their emotional language in their, not when I say emotional language, the way they speak to them, we naturally relate. And then that gets their attention, and that brings them closer to you. Right. And
building that rapport.
Yeah. So for everyone who is watching right now, as you're starting a CNC business where you're going to be making products, there's two ways we can go. I'm talking to you too, Kate, naturally. Making projects. You can either decide what type of products you want to make, and then do your avatar work, or do your avatar work and then decide what kind of products you want to make. The better way is do the avatar work. If you don't know and you really want to get started, you start with something that everybody likes, which we both have said, American flags. I say it all the stinking time because it's so easy, right? So many people like them. Now, you had your finger up. Did you want to say something?
Oh, no, I was just saying, like do the avatar work first. Yes, do that. And then create, because you're going to save yourself a lot of time and a lot of heartache.
Right. So how do we start to zero in, or how do we start at the top level defining our avatar? You look at your own life, at who you are, your own pains and struggles, what you want, what you're trying to go after.
Yeah.
And once you start to get that, I mean, so you have one, so you're looking at yourself, you're saying, what are my pains? What am I challenged with in life? What do I want? What am I
Mhm.
going, God, this is driving me crazy. And
Yeah.
we had a talk, and I don't know if you want to share it or not, but I thought it was really good about your avatar. So we're Kate has been very generous in sharing this with everybody because this is part of her teacher part. She wants other people to grow. And this is why I
Yeah.
think you've done this, right? You want to help other people with your journey. So,
Well, I've also thought a lot about the conversation that we had yesterday, and
give
I've put a little bit of a twist on it.
okay, share what you thought about with the conversation that you're about to talk about.
Okay. So, when Garrett and I were talking yesterday, I was like I was racing home from I don't know where, taking my kid. So I had to take one kid to the chiropractor, and then I had to take one other, and then I'd take that kid back home and take the other kid back to another doctor appointment. And I came home and I was making dinner and I was doing all these things. And after being alone all day, and then my kids were like, peace, I'll be like in my room. And I was like, okay, well, I'm out here making dinner by myself. I'm just kind of chilling, doing my own thing. And it's nice. The quiet's nice, but it's deafening sometimes as a mom. And I was just like talking to Garrett, and I'm like, God, I just feel like my avatar is just so defeated sometimes. And I was like, defeated Deborah, or you said silent Susan. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that just like kind of hit home, because all of the struggles that we as women are struggling with, we're juggling with this like mental to-do list that is just absolutely exhausting. And then you're in this phase of life where like your kids don't need you as much. But then I got to thinking, and I know that you were talking about there's some deep psychology in there. Do you want to comment on any of that, or
Uh,
do you want me
I
to
will.
keep
I
going?
will in a little bit. Go ahead with your thought.
Okay. So I got to thinking today, and I thought, you know, there are a lot of women that are silent, and there are a lot of women that are defeated. But I know I have mostly men on this feed tonight, but I'm going to tell you, women are resilient. We are badasses a lot of days. And I know men are too, but I'm talking about just women right now. And I'm talking about my avatar. So here we go. I thought innovative Ivanka. I don't know why Ivanka came to my mind, but it did. And I thought, sure as shit, there is women are out there hustling their asses off, raising kids, building businesses, building empires. And it doesn't matter if we have a screaming kid in our lap and we are still trying to talk on the phone. I am not gonna lie. There is not one woman that would tell you there is not something in her purse that she cannot whip out and be like, here you go, here's a clicky pin. Like, just be quiet for 5 minutes. Because we are innovators. We are always thinking about the next level. And no matter how defeated or how silent we want to be, the facts are the facts. Kids are always going to need us. Whether we're having a tough time right now, we are lionesses. We are always going to go after what we want. And that's how I feel like my avatar is going to be. She might be that in the background, but that is not who she is. That is not who she is. I want my avatar to be an innovative Ivanka. She might be, about 41. Her kids are grown, but let me tell you a secret. Kids always need their mama. It doesn't matter how old they get. Doesn't matter how old they get. My daughter called me today because she was like, she's doing this family tree thing and she's got to do everybody in the family. I'm like, text them, figure it out, do your work. And she's like, mom, just tell me. But even my 21-year-old will call home sometimes and be like, how do I, like wash this shirt? Like, kids are always going to need their moms. And so, I feel like innovative. Women are just, we're always doers.
Hmm.
So
Okay. So what was the character, the person, your avatar? Innovative,
Ivanka.
Ivanka?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Ivanka Trump.
Okay. Yep. It doesn't matter as long as it means something to you, right? And
Hmm.
we'll get to some of the comments, by the way. I've seen a couple come through.
Yeah. Oh, are you there? I think you're frozen.
Okay. I went blank there for a minute. You got me back?
Yep. You're
Okay.
back.
Well, for those watching, what we're doing right now is we are learning how to understand people who buy, and
Hmm.
we really need to dive deep into a particular. There's a saying in business: if you're selling to everyone, you're selling to no one. You're going to struggle all the time, right? So that's
Yep.
why we want to niche. We want to niche not just in products, but we want to niche into the people that we primarily focus on. So that's
Yeah.
why we're doing innovative. Ivanka. I forget you said. I've never heard that name before. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've identified a person who has their Ivanka's an unstoppable. She has that unstoppability. She's going to make shit work, right?
Yep.
Um, but she has a
And you'll
problem.
understand why, because you know
Uh,
my psychology and what we've been working on kind of in the background.
right, right. That she has a problem, right? And the other thing in business, even with CNC creating when we're creating projects, right? There's still a problem there. People want to identify why do people buy CNC projects is because they need something to express themselves, either to
Hmm.
themselves to create an image in their environment. Like I have uh, uh, my Dragon 100 board that I made that says I am getting the Dragon of the Year award. Right, that's a
Yep.
personal expression. It's something important to me. I made it. I designed it. Made it on my CNC, and I fully expect to get that thing. Um, but so that my desire was to win, right? But
Yeah.
so Ivanka, my desire is to gain the status of Dragon of the Year. It's status, right? Okay, so
Hmm.
Ivanka has pains um, that she wants to get away from, and
Hmm.
she has desires that she wants to move toward. And there's a problem, and the problem is she is stuck somehow, right? She's not able to
Hmm.
reach it. Now, I definitely want to lean into CNC projects as we talk about this too, uh, because people want to identify why we mentioned flags before, and Tim had made a comment about isn't the flag
Sure.
market saturated? No, it's if you believe it's saturated, it's going to be saturated, right? It's
Yeah.
this is why you do avatar work, because you will still find
Yep.
people who will buy those card flags. Um, for reasons that you will discover as you do the avatar work and start to understand what that person wants and what flags are going to identify with them.
Hmm.
Okay, so Ivanka has a pain. She wants to get away from that pain. She has a desire. It's the thing she wants to move towards, and she's got a problem. The problem is she can't go from here to here. For our
Hmm.
CNC buyers who buy projects, they want to express themselves or honor someone else with an expression,
Yes.
a gift, right?
Hmm.
And like we make personalized stuff. And so we can find them when we understand their psychology. And if they feel connected, they're going to pay attention. And because we know how they think and we
Hmm.
know what they want away from and what they want towards, we can talk to them in a way that will show them that this will solve that problem, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it is deep psychological. You've heard the term to know thyself, right? And
Hmm.
this is why we do the avatar work, because we have to know ourselves. If we know
Ahead of time.
ourselves, the more we know ourselves, the more we'll see our avatar. We'll see him walking down the
Yes.
street. All right, you'll be able to identify him. Okay, so what is Ivanka's problem?
Well, her problem is she's got a lot on her plate, but she doesn't know where to start. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know where to turn. Um, you know,
Well,
right?
okay, so you say she doesn't know what to do or where to turn.
Well, she doesn't
Why?
know as far as I'm sorry. So let's assume that Ivanka is already in the CNC space. She's ordered the machine, but it's sitting in her garage. She hasn't even taken it out of the box.
Okay.
She doesn't know where to start. It's very overwhelming. So I would say that's her problem, and I'd like to help her with that.
Okay. Why is the machine sitting there?
I don't know. We should ask Ivanka.
Well, you have to know Ivanka, right? Why is her machine
I know, I know, I know.
Yeah, yeah. Why?
So the reason it's sitting there is it's big. It's scary. It's complicated. I mean, when I got my CNC, I was like, there's a lot of like it came in like 3 huge boxes. I was like, holy crap, what do I like? Okay, I knew this thing was going to be big, but it's huge. And there's like 5,000 packets of nuts and bolts and big rails and lots of scary things. And it was, it was overwhelming. And there was always something else to do. There was always another task on the list of things to do besides deal with that machine. And I don't know, you know, it's an easy out to walk away from it.
Okay.
Because I've been there.
Good. That's
Yeah.
a really good point. Mark that one, okay, in your mental space, right? Because this is she's looking for the easy out for a deeper reason,
Yeah.
right? And the deeper
Mhm.
reason is, you said, she's overwhelmed. But why is she overwhelmed? I think you said, if I think you said it, she's intimidated. Maybe, I don't know if you said that, but that's why is she overwhelmed? Why did she, even stepping back further? Well, let's go into this. Let's go deeper into this first. Why is she overwhelmed by it when she's looking at it?
Because it's a big machine. It's expensive. And if she messes something up, then what? Then it's just more money out the door. And maybe she, saved up everything she had from, maybe it was a t-shirt business or it was another wood sign business like mine. And you've got everything invested and everything riding on this. So why not? You don't want to mess it up. That was one of my biggest fears. I mean, I was like, look at this thing. Well, look at this thing. Like, and I'm just going to call it out on the carpet. I'm a woman. I had graphic design experience. I was watching these machines run. I was watching you. I was learning my Vectric. But when this thing arrived, I was like, holy shit. What am like now I got to watch like 800 videos on how to assemble the damn thing. Like I hadn't thought about that because women don't always think like that mechanically because like I said, it's an easy out. I was like, I'm not going to watch all those videos because I don't have it. I'm not going to understand it. I'm going to have to watch it 800 times. I don't want to. Like I just don't want to. So I feel like a lot of women are feeling that way. And in the group where I said where I was going to be creating a space for women, I can tell you there were probably at least 10 to 12 women that were like, got it last June, got it last October, got it last November, sitting in my garage, sitting in my shop. Like I just walked by and it's just depressing. Like I think I want to sell it, but I want to get invested, but I do, but I don't. And I'm just like, holy crap. Like there's 5,000 reasons not to do it, but
Mm.
I'm going to say what my dad said. Shit or get off the pot. Like,
Right.
let's figure
Right.
it out.
Yep. Okay. So just to stop for a minute for those who have jumped on board, uh, we are this is mentoring, live mentoring with Kate. This is episode 4 now, right? And we've been working on foundations
Mm-hmm.
for um, to get Kate on the right track. And Kate and I have known each other for quite a while now. And then she started getting in the CNC business, and
Yep.
it wasn't working because she didn't have the foundations, the proper business foundation set. And so that's what this is about. And she is doing this live because she wants to help other people along the way. And
Yeah.
so, okay, so with that, I have to give a special hello to Crazy Hair, who made a comment out there. And we know who we're talking about, don't we, Kate? All right.
Yes, we do.
Raymond said something. So he said maybe she didn't do her homework on CNC beforehand, but just jumped in and now she regrets it. Is that a talk about that? Because I know you did your research. Does does
Yeah.
does innovative Ivanka, is she one of those ones that's doing her research first, or is she just diving in, or is she doing kind of both?
Well, let's go back to what you said.
Hmm.
Purchases are emotional, they're impulsive.
Hmm.
Sometimes they're not always rational. So Raymond could have a very good point. My avatar could have thought about buying it. They're seeing, I will say this. Instagram can be very, very influential as well as any social media platforms. But when you see all of these really cool projects and these really cool things going on, and let's say you've already been a woodworker or you're a scroll saw artist or whatever your position is, and you see these big machines, and then you'll think, well, I can do that. That's, not that difficult. And then you get the machine and it's very intimidating. I cannot tell you how many times Ivanka walked out of this shop madder than a dang hornet and said, burn it all. I'm not doing it. I'm done.
Hmm.
But I came back, like
Right.
usually like a half an hour later.
Right.
So I think Ivanka, my avatar, would have done her research, but been a little unprepared, is unprepared for the task of learning all of the ins and outs, and just feels very inundated with all of the very technical side of it, the speeds, the feeds, to use a ramp, tabs. I mean, all the things that are incorporated in with running a CNC that can be really confusing. And I think that's where
Hmm.
she's at right now in her journey.
Right. To Raymond's point, okay, and relating this to Ivanka, right? There is, so basically is, you know, is you kind of identified Ivanka as someone who got this machine and is now is making excuses, subconscious excuses to avoid that machine, right? Because
Yeah.
it's intimidating. It's not even at the feeds and speeds level. It's just the idea of what the hell is this contraption sitting in front of me, right? The
Yeah.
thing is, we need to step back a little bit further in Ivanka. And why did she buy the machine in the first place?
This is very deep. You warned
Mm-hmm.
me about this. I think that's why I kind of went off on a little bit of, sorry if I go off on tangents. That's just how my brain works sometimes. I have to like talk it out in.
You're processing because it is deep.
Yes, it is very deep. Um, it's it's overwhelming to think about, because you have to look at yourself and you have to understand, why did I purchase it? And then I have to think about my avatar, who I'm going to try to be selling to. why would they want to do it if I felt this way? I feel like maybe I might be in a little bit of a separate category. Because I was determined with everything in my body to get that machine the day that it arrived and tear every single piece and nut and bolt out of the box and like examine it. I want to go off on a sidebar just for a quick note.
Yeah.
When I was in cosmetology school, when my kids were babies, I was sitting in class and my instructor, Joe Settle, he said to me, he was really frustrated with the class. And he said, I don't know why any of you are in here. He said, you don't seem like you're interested in this at all. And it's really getting on my nerves. He said, when I got my first cosmetology book, and he had been a cosmetology instructor and, very successful business owner. And he said, when I got my first cosmetology book, I read that book cover to cover. And then I read the front and the back, and then I read it cover to cover again and again and again. And I'm like, yes, that is what we needed to hear. But that has always stuck with me. I don't know why, but it resonated with me so profoundly. And I feel like when I ordered my CNC, I was like giddy like a kid on Christmas, and I had 6 months to figure out how exactly I was going to make this thing work. And I'm still that way. Every day I come out here, I'm like, all right, what are we going to do today? So it's hard for me to dive into that psychology of why not.
So one of the fascinating things is when we're in dialogue, right, and or just by ourselves, and we ask ourselves a question: why did I do that? And then a thought pops into our head, right? And that thought is kind of our background thoughts that's saying this is tied in with that.
Okay.
Think about that. And so what I am thinking on this note of your avatar for your CNC business is the reason this jumped out at you is because innovative Ivanka is as we've talked about, this is not without fear, right? She wants to dive in, and then she sees a machine there, and she is intimidated by the contraption, right? And the what she needs is what your instructor told your crowd, right? This is what she wants to hear. She wants somebody to kick her in the ass in the right way, right? And,
yes.
And say, so this is she's not feeling confident enough. So Ivanka needs some confidence to get over it. Once she gets over the hump, right, then she's on board and she's all in, right?
Yes.
So there are other aspects about Ivanka we're going to dive in, but I want to hit some of these comments first, because we've got quite a few. And I want to say to those who are here, last week, we're getting a lot of comments, and Kate, we are trying to get to some of these. We reviewed some of them after last week, and we're going, darn, we missed that one, right?
I know.
Yeah, and so I do apologize. These comments are all important, and okay, so Russell, if you do avatar work first, am I just doing a job? If I do work I enjoy, there has to be more. Am I working at this point? Okay, so this is a good question too, right? Because when we're building our CNC business, you want to do something you love, right? You want to create projects you love. You want to make them for people that you are going to love their reaction, that they're going to love, right?
Yes.
And so that makes it not a job. Sometimes it feels like a hell of a job that you want to quit. But as entrepreneurs, right, we are responsible, 100% responsible for the results in our business, right? And the more we lay foundation, do this avatar work, right, the better your results will be. So to Russell's point, you can be making projects, but the idea here is we want to get you narrowed down into a space that you are enjoying, that you're not pulling your hair out. Like Kate was doing this, right? Making this, making that, making this, making that, all kinds of things. And what that does, you spend so much time in your design, setup, and stuff, and you make more
Mm-hmm.
errors instead of being able to standardize a little bit, uh, at least. And when you can standardize, then it becomes a lot easier, right? So you do half standardization, half custom, right? That's what you want to get to. If you're making flags, you don't want to agree to make cabinets for someone, right?
No.
Because you're doing too many different things. So Russell, you want the idea is you want to do something you enjoy. The part that's hard is learning how to do it right to build that business up the right way. Right, that's the hard part, and the reason it is hard and is because you're shifting the way that you think, and we resist. We have a psychological comfort zone. There's things that make up our identity, who we are.
Yes.
Yep. And there's some things in that identity that will keep you, hold you back. Right, what you know is what got you here, and until you change that and you start to know more things, you will not progress, right? And your identity or self-image, you can't outperform it, right? So that's why we have to shift the way we think, and that's why we're doing what we're doing here. And I'm hoping that kind of makes a little sense as to why we're doing avatar work, because it opens up
Yeah.
your mind to, it's not about you, it's about the person on the other end of the project who is going to get the reward out of it, right? The project
Yeah.
or the education. So
Yeah.
Russell, I hope that answered your question. This does get deep. This is when I really like this stuff. And Kate, I said at the beginning of this that I've noticed a shift in you, particularly yesterday in our conversation. The shift I noticed in you is your focus has shifted a little bit away from you and more towards, wait, maybe I can do this. And it was more about not only what you can do to build a business and generate profit, but
Yeah.
also to serve other people. So how can you work to both ends at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of an
It's
expanded
tricky.
context. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Crazy hair said, well put, Kate. I'm not sure what you said at that point. Paul, good questions from Tim. Cornerstone, just to your testament, Kate. No, nothing works in silence. My kids, nothing.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Okay. Trying to scroll down. Is there anything you see that you want to comment on, Kate?
Uh,
Oh,
I would,
go ahead.
oh, no, you're okay. Um, do 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 do.
Um,
So
Go ahead.
I saw one here. So
Who's
Raymond Jones.
what's the
He
timestamp?
said,
Because I got
uh,
timestamps this time.
okay, 8:40.
8:40. Okay.
All right. Just don't feel intimidated by it. Start at the beginning and go step by step. Simple. Yes, Raymond, you are right as far as that. And that is part of that thought process that I'm having from a business perspective of what can I do to help Ivanka. So, yes, you are right. And that's exactly what I'm working on doing for Ivanka. But of course, I am doing that in my background work. So,
Right. I
yeah,
will talk to this because Raymond, I want Raymond and everybody, I want you to get this. It's not as simple as just start step by step, because what's holding Ivanka back has nothing to do with reason or rationale, right? It's reasonable to say just start at the beginning, start step by step. But Ivanka is intimidated at a deeper level. She's afraid of that machine. To her, that thing's going to bite her, right? Uh, and so the thing is this is where it's not about reason or logic or simple step by step. Uh, I've seen a couple of the comments where other people, and I've seen it. I've gotten emails from CNC brothers as well who've let that machine sit there, right?
Hmm.
Because
Yep.
there's an intimidation factor, and we have to come to accept that people are in that spot of I'm afraid, and I need to
Hmm.
feel safe with someone to help me work through that fear, right? And us
Yes.
as business owners, so let's talk about CNC projects on this, right? Say you are making a flag, right? You're making a nice,
Mhm.
we'll say 24 by, how big were the flags you were making?
I think 24 by like 38.
Okay, so good sized flag, right?
Yeah. I mean, here
Eh,
I got one over here.
Okay,
I got a couple over
all
there.
right,
I got two of them actually. Yeah,
okay,
but
okay. So anybody here, you have a customer or a potential customer who wants to buy a flag, and you have a price tag on it of $285, and they really
mhm,
like that flag, but their first objection in business, okay, when people are resisting, it's called objections, right? And if their first objection is, oh, the money, right, our job is to handle that objection by getting around behind the money, right? Because it's never about the money ever, right?
yeah.
And so with the flag, if someone's really starting to eyeball it, our job is to, we know innovative Ivanka or military Mark, right? As
Mhm,
who is interested in the flag, or military wife Mary, right? Whose husband is all about being in the military, who's going to
mhm,
thinking about it for a gift, but they're intimidated about the price. Our job, because we've done avatar work, we understand what they're afraid of, and we already intuitively know why they want this, and we start the dialogue with them of, why is this important to you, right? Why is this flag
mhm,
important to you, and get them to open up in story about their life, right? And now we're taking an interest in their life, and what's happening in that is, because we are taking interest, they are connecting with us, right? Because we all wear a sign around our neck that says make me feel special, right?
mhm.
And so
Yeah,
you as a business owner, you want to make your customers feel special.
always.
And yep. And so by getting in behind that, you start talking about it. Why is this important? What did military Mark do? Or, I'm talking to military wife Mary, right? And
Yeah.
why and she'll start talking about the military stories, and then you can start tying back the emotional ties to the flag and why this is drawing her attention, right? Then that breaks down the that starts to break down the money resistance, right? Because you're getting to the
Hmm.
real desire, and then you can come back
Yeah.
to the money resistance and start to ask about that, right? But you got to make friends. At the other end of every deal is not a sale. At the end of every deal is a customer who has some kind of emotional satisfaction
Hmm.
above and beyond, right? Why do I throw M&Ms in there? Because I know it's fun in the packages that I send out, the router bits,
Yeah.
because I know it's fun, it's playful, and it almost, when I got the idea from someone who sent me a package on, and I like can't remember what the package was, but I remember
Yeah.
the company, and I remember the person, because I
Hmm.
remember this little bag of M&Ms. I'm like, it was brilliant. It had that much of an impact, right? So
Yep.
we want to understand that kind of stuff. All right, let's,
Yeah. I
um,
have something like that I put in with my stuff. I don't
mhm,
necessarily throw. I have Tootsie Rolls. That's kind of like my signature thing. But I also have a card, and it has an epoxy sunflower, and they're all different. Like sometimes they're different colors, but then it's encapsulated like in a little plastic bag. And people are always like, "Oh, that was so nice. It was so unexpected."
mhm.
They're like, "You put a lot of work into these," but they seem to go really well. And those people, that has been a really great tool for me to get repeat customers because they have that little keychain. Like it's a really cute little keychain. So they put it on their purse or they put it wherever and they're like, oh, you know, thinking about me.
Right. Yeah. When you can give people kind of a moment of, oh, right. It's kind of, it burns into them and they remember you just
They
from
do.
that
Yeah.
little extra that you do, from the thank you card that you put in there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on. If there's one that you see, 19
All
Vaughn, you
right.
joined in a little bit late. Um, okay. So Roger said, sounds like she's an impulsive buyer, an innovative.
Mm-hmm.
Ivanka, is she impulsive? Well, okay. So let's kind of, let's see. Did she buy the machine while in the checkout line of the grocery store? Okay, so he's talking philosophically, right,
Mm-hmm.
or rhetorically, not rhetorically, but philosophically. Uh, when one buys a car, they generally know how to drive test. So it's interesting. That's a good point, right? This goes to why did innovative Ivanka buy the machine in the first place? And before you go into that, for those who have jumped in late, what we're doing, this is a mentoring a series that I'm doing with Kate to help her get started on her CNC business in the right direction to understand the foundations. And we are doing what we call avatar work, which is we are identifying a specific individual to understand their underlying psychology of of
Mm-hmm.
of that individual, and we have to define some other characteristics of that person too. Like
Right.
how old they are, they married, how many kids they have, what do they do for a living, that
What
kind
does
of
our
stuff.
life look like?
What does their life look like? But the reason we do this is so we can start gathering and understanding the psychology behind business, because all business is psychological. Um, all buying is psychologically driven. All right. And so our job as business owners is to understand that so we can serve that market. One of the things a lot of people have said is, I don't know how to sell. I'm not good at sales. Ultimately, this is why we do the avatar work, because we don't want to try to sell to people. Everybody hates to be sold to. We want we want to help them make a buying decision that at the end of the day they're going to be happy with, right? Because
Right.
ultimately they're going to buy something from somewhere. You might as well be the person they buy from, right? And especially
True.
since you understand them, they feel like you are more personal to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I want to speak to this just a little bit.
To what's on
Um,
the what we got from Roger?
yeah, what we got from Roger, it says,
Okay.
sounds like she's an impulsive buyer. Um, okay, as a woman, and this is my avatar, she's not an impulsive buyer. Most women that are going to spend $2,000 and up are not impulsive buy. That is not an impulsive buy because that money is taking away from family. It's taken away from kids. It's taking away from college funds. It's taking away from paying car insurance when you have a girl because that jacks up the rates. Um, so there's a lot of thought that would go into buying this CNC. But I think Garrett's right about as far as it being a much deeper psychology of she bought it because she has that sense of I want to do something more. I want to do something to fulfill me and to fulfill my time. Um, but she's very intimidated and very scared of the machine. So, you know, I put a lot of thought and effort into my machine purchase, which I think is fair. I think most of us did. We all look at all the rigidity and everything that all the CNCs have to offer. But like I said, that's why I said earlier, I feel like I'm in a little bit of a different class because I was looked at every single thing and figured out everything that was going to be needed, like tried to overthink and analyze every single thing that was I was going to need. So it's hard for me to dive back into this, but I don't think that my avatar is going to be an impulsive buyer. I think she's going to have it very well thought out, but there's a deeper psychology as to why it's still sitting in the box.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was good because you just narrowed her down just a little bit more, right? And so that's going to be your primary customer is one that's not so impulsive, but is still intimidated by the equipment, right? And still needs that handheld. And being a female is uncertain. You know, is she intimidated to bring out those fears in a man's world?
Probably. I know I was.
Okay, it's not probably.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Well, and let me give you an indication, or an indication, an example of something. So when my husband wants to go buy a new Milwaukee tool, he's like, "Hey, I think I'm going to go buy a new tool." I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And he goes and buys tools, and he has it in the garage, and I'm like, whatever. My husband has 5 bajillion different tools. Lord have mercy, we have so many tools. I can't talk about it. But if I said I'm going to spend $2,500 on a Onefinity CNC, he was like, okay. But let me just say this. When he wanted the Milwaukee rotary hammer drill, not the cordless one, the corded one, it's very nice, $700, $800 for this tool. And then he's got to buy the drill bits, which are $200 a piece. There's $900. We don't stop to have a big old conversation about it. He just goes and gets it. But if I want to spend $1,000 on some router bits, it's a whole conversation. It's, well, we really should put that money in the kids' college funds, or we should really put that money back for something else. So that's why I say she's not impulsive, because spending that kind of money for a woman, there's 5,000 other things that we could think about. Like, I would love to have some new router bits right now, but my kid's growing like a weed, and I got to probably spend like $500 on clothes. Plus, I just dropped $800 on his soccer travel team fees, and then another $300 on soccer gear. So it's like spending that kind of money is really hard for women, because we're accounting for every single thing.
All right. So this is a good point. So in your world, it's, in this case, you got a little vulnerable here, right? So the husband's going out and he's buying the stuff, and you have to be.
And that's my life. I mean, that's true.
Right. But you have to be accountable to that. Is that something that Ivanka's dealing with?
Absolutely.
Does she need the encouragement to say, go for it? You might have to go have that conversation, but at the end of the day, you're going to win. You're going to win the game, right? Maybe that's something that she needs.
Hopefully. Yeah. So encouragement.
So this is why this got to be clear, right? If that's what she's up against.
Yeah. Every woman is. I mean,
well, is Ivanka married?
And yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How many kids does she have?
I'm going to say 3.
Okay.
We're going to go with happy medium.
Yeah. Everybody that's watching, believe it or not, these little silly little details are really important because you can relate. By understanding this, you can relate to that customer. And how many kids?
3.
3. Okay. And
she's got one in college, and she's got a sophomore in high school, and she's got an 8th grader.
What's her average day?
Gets up, gets the kids to school, comes home, does the run-of-the-mill mom activities, laundry, unload the dishwasher, defrost something for dinner, figures out what I guess she has things that keep her busy. So she does volunteer work. She volunteers at the church. She does all kinds of different things that, to kind of bide her time. But she's also an aspiring CNCer. She wants to grow. She wants to redefine her
Your
space.
avatar is not an aspiring CNCer. She is somebody that wants to aspire as a CNCer, but she wants something
Okay.
deeper. Okay. This goes back to why did she buy the machine? Right. And I'm going to bring a comment out in just a minute after you answer that question. Why did she buy the machine in the first place?
Why did she buy the machine in the first place? Because she wanted to redefine who she was. She wanted something that would bring her back to life.
That's an interesting statement. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to get vulnerable. I know a lot of you may like that or may not. I don't know.
This isn't about anybody else. This is about you and your business. And just
I
on
know.
that note, okay, I just want to say to everyone, what we're doing here is this is, Kate is digging deep, right? And so there's no
Mm-hmm.
judgment here. And so for your sake, Kate, no one is allowed to make judgment here, right? IDC Woodcraft has a zero tolerance policy, right? When I see crap comments on my channel, I block them. They can't ever see the IDC Woodcraft channel again. If I see crap comments in the Facebook groups and they get reported, they get blocked. If they're crap comments, they get blocked. They get zero
Yeah.
tolerance. Okay, because we all have our own thing. So, all right, with that
Yeah.
speech, go for it.
So when I say bring me back to life, I mean me as myself, as the woman that I used to be, that my avatar used to be before she became everything to everyone. I cannot tell you how wonderfully fulfilling it is to be a mom and to be a wife and to be all of the things to everybody, because when they start not needing you as much, it's hard, it's painful. But I was a really force to be reckoned with before I met my husband and before I took on two kiddos that that were not mine. They were my stepchildren, and that was a really humbling experience. You ever want to have a most humbling experience of your lifetime, be a stepmom or a step parent, because that will put you in your place real quick. And so I had to tone that down. And then I had two kids of my own, and I had all kinds of health issues. And oh man, it's just I just I wanted something that was mine. I wanted to feel alive again. I wanted to feel like I was brought back to life, like somebody just grabbed a hold of me and went like, "Hey, where's that businesswoman? Where's that successful, powerful force to be reckoned with, that when they saw you coming, they were like, oh, man, like I can't wait to see what she's got to say." Because that's how I was in the business world. I was on the leadership team. I was a mentor. I was teaching other people how to be successful. And yeah, it's kind of interesting now that I'm sitting
Yeah,
here thinking about it.
right. Yeah, you'll be thinking about this for a while. Innovative Ivanka, you just defined a good aspect about her, and you defined a pain, a really deep pain, going
Yeah.
vulnerable like this, right? Is she was a go-getter in her younger days, right? And
Mm-hmm.
don't mess with me. I'm going to ply you down, right? Because I'm living my life. and I'm going
Yeah.
after it.
I got things to do and
Yeah, right. And then,
accomplishments.
right, and then the new world came along of marriage, kids, stepkids, and all the responsibilities that came along with that. And Ivanka's
Mhm.
identity got buried in the mix, and kind of nobody saw it, right?
Mhm.
And she didn't feel. She felt like that part of her that made it gave her that feeling of in control and power. And I'm living a life I was destined for, got lost, and that's what
Mhm.
she wants back. Okay,
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
everybody who's listening right now, um, I don't know if you were or not, but I was riveted while I was listening to that because Kate was getting vulnerable. She was telling a story, right? And this goes back to facts sell, stories. Facts tell, stories sell, right? So when you're listening to her talk, and by the way, give a like to this video if you felt something inside of you move as you were listening to that, right? Um, but you're riveted because this is just the point. Stories sell. So if you engage in this type of stuff, then
Mhm.
you'll be able to understand your customer a hell of a lot more. You have now gotten to a whole new level of the customer you want to attract,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
you're gonna have to go a little bit deeper on this, but you got down to the deep pain. She's lost her sense of identity as an individual because she's taking care of
Yeah.
everybody else, and the rest of the world is going, well, I'm going to go watch my TV, I'm going to go play my game, I got to go travel, um, and it's
Yeah.
like, no more glory, you're just the thing that's keeping everything together, and nobody sees it. So the comment I've been
It's
holding on
it
to.
Oh, well, I was going to say something just really quickly. So it's
Yeah, go
kind
ahead.
of like I just had it. I would always tell my husband sometimes, like when the kids were just being super overwhelming, and you get to the point at dinner where you're like, "You're welcome," like no, like just, bleh, and they're like, "Thank you." You got one kid like not eating it. You got one kid that's like, you know, throwing a fit and feeding it to the dog, and your husband's the only one eating it at this point, and the dog. And I would go back to like our bedroom and I would just look at him dead in the eyes and I would be like, I feel like I am standing in the middle of a crowded room screaming at the top of my lungs and no one can hear me. No one's even looked up to notice that I'm screaming like a crazy person. And he would just be like, "Babe, I see you. I see you. This is just a really tough bag we're dealing with right now." So, um, I saw a comment come in really quickly, and it was Tammy Jones at 914,
Okay,
and uh,
let me try to bring that in.
does Ivanka feel guilty for wanting to find herself again? Yes, I think she does. I think that's that deep pain of why. Why does she feel so guilty? The reason she feels guilty is because it's 9:18 on a Wednesday night, and her kids have been threatened with an inch of their life that if they come out here, unless their hair's on fire, they might be in big trouble. So, but there's certain times that Ivanka has a movie to finish watching with her son, and her son asked if he could watch that movie tonight, and Ivanka had to say no because mommy has to work. Mommy has things to do tonight, but maybe tomorrow. Um, there is a lot of guilt and there's a lot of deep yearning to want to not feel that guilt all the time because Ivanka, has earned this time in her life. It's okay to say no. It's okay to do what you want to do. It's okay to be a little bit selfish because your kids will be fine on a Wednesday night for a little while. They'll be fine. Unless their hair's on fire. Then they come see me. But other than that, no.
Right.
Ivanka has to have some time for herself because if she's not taking care of herself mentally and emotionally, then who is? So,
Right.
yeah.
So now, thanks to Tammy's question, right? You've now identified what she wants, right?
Yep.
And one of the things that's holding her back is the guilt. She's gotten so caught up in this life and that people do still need her, right? But she's not necessarily feeling the need from them. But you just identified, you got a son that wants to share a movie with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she needs to have that corner of her own, right? Where she's just for a
Yeah.
little while, she's like, I'm going after my thing, right? So now you know the pain
Mm-hmm.
and you know the desire, and you know what's holding her
Mm-hmm.
back.
It's sorry if you see me writing in between. I'm making my notes as we go while I'm uncovering this as well. My
Right.
pen died, so I'm using my fancy pencil here.
Thank you, Tammy, for bringing that question out. We are
Yes,
getting
thank you.
close. It's 9:20. I want to try to cover a couple others.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please.
Yeah. So Ian came in late. He's trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay. So he has to say that he thinks it takes an awful lot of strength and courage to do what you were doing right now.
Oh,
And
thank
he's
you,
right,
Ian.
right? Uh, yeah. Well, it's a big statement, right? Because he saw your vulnerability, and we all know how hard it is to get vulnerable, especially in front of a group of people,
Yeah,
right?
I can't even see how many people are on here. So,
Yeah. Well,
you
right
know,
now it's been going down. We were at about 60. We got about 36 in right now. Um,
okay.
but what you have done by what we've gone through, you're going to come out of this. You're going to be in a daze, right?
Probably.
Because you've cracked places open inside of you that that
Yeah.
are not always able to see. But the
Hmm.
beauty is now you're not so afraid of that, and and you also understand where it's coming from and why it's there, and that
Yeah.
enables you to talk to her. Now that you have brought it out, you can talk to innovative Ivanka, and innovative Ivanka is, you stated an age, but actually she's a myriad of ages, right? She's going to fall in between here and here.
That is what I said in the very beginning yesterday in our phone call. I'm like, I just can't put a age on it. Oh goodness.
So what's the aha? What's the
Just that it's not just one age. It's not 38 to 42. It's I there are oh god, just there are so many women that feel like this. And even if someone like even if my avatar wanted to start up a beginner CNC or she ordered her CNC or she wants to be an aspiring artist of some kind, as long as she has that innovation in her and that will to want to do it, she can do it. I mean, okay, let's flip the script here for just a hot second. What is your avatar?
My avatar is retiring Ron. He's 62 years old. He's going to be retired in about 3 years, right? He's a professional, meaning he works like an engineering job or somewhere in that area, maybe management. He's an important person, and people have depended on him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he has been in the service. He's been in the military, okay, and he spent 4 years in the military. But he remembers that military time. That's the time that he truly felt like he belonged somewhere, right?
Okay.
And so he got out and he moved on with life. And even in his work, in his family, even though he loves his family, right? And his family is everything
Mhm.
to him. They can't feel that brotherhood that he felt back then, right?
Okay.
Okay, so
That
so
makes
that's
sense.
why he clings on to his services in the past. He but he went through with life, and now he's coming to the end of his work life, and he's starting to get uncomfortable. He was looking forward to retirement, but now he's starting to get uncomfortable, and he doesn't really know why, right? But the reason he's getting uncomfortable is because he's starting, number one, he knows his clock is ticking in life now. And he didn't realize that retirement is just one of those things that just kind of irons that, dude, you got a few more years left, right? 30
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
whatever. But the bigger pain is now he's not going to be as needed in the world, right? His part of his identity was his work, and that's where people counted on him.
Hmm.
And he sees that, and he's deep psychologically, he sees that he's going to be losing that. Okay,
Hmm.
and and that was his main sense of purpose. He didn't understand it. Family is purposeful, right? But in the world, as someone who makes a difference or matters in the world, that purpose is
Hmm.
going away, right? And now he needs
Yeah.
something new. It's also amping up that missing of the brotherhood. It's bringing it back to the surface. And so
Hmm.
he needs the brotherhood. He needs to connect with people who understand him. He also has been in the cog, and and feels like there's something else inside of him, which we all feel, right? That
Hmm. Yeah.
but he doesn't know what it is. When he starts to see the CNC stuff, something taps into him really deep. That sense of not only can he's fascinated by the cool stuff, right? It's like that just looks
Hmm.
so cool, and and he sees something in it that that feels like can bring him back alive, right? And it's the
Hmm.
creative, the deeper creative part, and it's actually a spiritual level, right? When I use
Yeah.
spiritual, it's the thing that drives us, that inspires us, that gives us purpose, and um, so that's engaging him in that there's this creative aspect, okay, and he feels like this there's something about it, and as he starts to gain the interest in it, and he's
Hmm.
starting to do his research in his machines, then he's starting to see there's a huge community that are all at deeper levels in the same journey. He doesn't recognize it now that it's a community, right? But they're all in this same journey of becoming their own creators. In a
Yeah.
way, they're little masters of their own destinies. They can make
Hmm.
whatever they want, and it just explodes their mind wide open into
Hmm.
they think about the things that are important to them. Another thing that's important to them is legacy, right? He doesn't
Yep.
want
Yeah. I know you've
people.
talked about that before.
Yep, he does not want
Hmm.
people to forget about him. As he's going into retirement, the idea that the rest of the world isn't going to matter anymore. We know that once we quit work, the next day everybody forgets about us, right? Um, right. Um, then the world that's important is family, right? And he wants family to remember him, those that are
Yeah.
important to him, and he, as he progresses, he wants also that validation that he's still a person, that a desired and needed person, right? And when so it's when he gives that first gift and somebody's going, oh my God, this is beautiful, his inside he feels so proud, right? That's what he's
Hmm.
going for: relevance in
Yeah.
life, purpose, his own purpose, relevant to other people, and to make other people feel good, which ultimately makes him feel like he matters again,
Valued.
valued.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the reason I asked that is because that's your avatar. But even with some of your teachings, you have like inserts in your videos where you'll tell a story.
Mhm.
And me, not in your avatar framework at all, found you and felt very connected to you just through your teachings. and through some of your stories, which I thought was really cool. But I feel like that's why I understand now why the avatar work is so incredibly important. But that's why I have such a hard time putting an age limit on it, because there are women that have been in the workforce for, their whole lives, and they work. And now they're trying to find their purpose again. So I can speak to this, like my mother-in-law. Um, she's doing like a lot of crafting and she's doing a lot of things. And I'm like, hey, I need somebody to, help me with my business and do some painting or do this, and trying to bring her in, because much like your avatar flipped the script to be a woman, she's been working her whole life. She's been doing all of those things. She wants to feel connected. And now she's out. So she wants to feel that sense of whatever it is again.
Yeah. There's one more element that your avatar wants the desire, and there's one, and mine has the same one. They want to be in command of their own world for a change.
That's a good. I think about that, because out here, this is my domain. Like my husband tries to come out here and says, I'm like, just go away.
You're building a business because you want to be in charge. You want to be in charge of your own destiny.
Yeah.
Right. That's what, there's two ways that we build businesses. One works, the other one doesn't. The one that doesn't work is when we're trying to do it just to make a buck. I got to have money. If you're money driven, you're always going to challenge. You're always going to struggle. The other one is because we want to be in charge of our destiny. Right. And that works because
that's deep.
It is.
Okay. Show me that comment, because you have my brain all like screwed up. I want to hear about this comment that you said, or that you were. Let's see, we have some.
I thought I already put it up there. There's a lot of other comments that have come up. So the comment was, okay, I got to go back to it. It came from Tim, and it's quite a ways back. There it is. The thing that caught me was, maybe she wanted to buy herself freedom. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So write down in your paper.
I got a list.
Okay. How would you define freedom that Ivanka wants? Because freedom is a generic word.
Freedom to me means mental clarity.
All right.
I can come out here and get in my headspace, and I almost forget some of the things that happen. Like, I have 1,000 alarms on my phone. Leave for this, leave for that, pick up this kid here, pick up that kid here. I'm serious. Like, my phone's always going off with something. But when I'm out here in the shop, if I don't have those alarms, I will like leave a kid at school in a hot minute. You can call my daughter and ask her. Right. So okay. It's freedom to me is mental clarity.
Okay.
And we need that.
But you need to understand this for Ivanka. We are an hour and a half in. So before I wrap this up, number one, we do this every Wednesday to all who's watching and who will watch the recording. This is every Wednesday with Kate. And as far as on my end, what I'm doing, technically I'm giving you, as someone who's watching, calls to action. Right. This is what we also have to learn to do. What I didn't do is do this in the middle of this dialogue. Right. But we'll get to that. Right. The CNC router bit app that I put out. Get that app on your phone. If you don't have that, you have all the feeds and speeds for all the CNC router bits. And find Kate's YouTube channel, Rise and Shine, right? Wood signs. And if you are a female creator, sign up to her, or creator wannabe, sign up to her Facebook group, Women Who CNC.
Yes.
Men are not allowed, right? And if you don't like it as a man, tough shit. It's just another Facebook group. This is for, if you've been watching this, now you understand why this group is being built, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
The
innovative
psychology
and
behind
yep,
how
innovative
women
Ivanka
think.
needs another innovative Ivanka, right? And
Hmm.
she needs someone who understands why she's afraid and what she wants.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, if you find this useful, click the like button on either Facebook, leave or YouTube, leave a comment. Also, in the YouTube videos down in the description, you will generally find buy me a cup of coffee link. If you got something out of this, please feel free to go click that and donate and buy me a cup of coffee. And Kate, that's another thing that you will have to do is sign up for that, because as you help people, they want to contribute back, right? And
It's always
so,
nice. I feel the same way. I always want to contribute back when someone helps.
all right, let's buzz through a few comments.
Yeah.
You go ahead and
I
you
saw
find a
an,
couple and tell me what the
um
timestamp.
I saw another one from Mr. Blob at 9:27.
Okay.
My mom had a similar guilt that kept her from growing her first business. When we went on our own, she was able to try again with a kitchen company at 55 that generates 1.2 million annually. That's incredible. Congratulations to your mom. That is freaking amazing. That's that's awesome.
Yeah, no, but the other thing he's saying here is guilt held her back for a long time until
Hmm.
she was not doing the family life anymore, and finally she had to do it. She had that thing in her, and the right people were drawing her in that direction, right? So that's why
Yeah.
or innovative. Now that you understand this, the right people are going to come in your direction.
Hmm. I saw some really nice comments that people were saying that you kind of were speaking their language about your avatar. You were getting inside their head. It was like you were in their brain.
Hmm.
I was like, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure if I
Okay.
said these things in my women's CNC group, they would probably say the same thing,
All right.
or at
Yep.
least some of them.
Here's a good one. I'm going to call it crazy here. At the end of the day, we all just want to be loved and valued, right? And our job as business owners is to value other people and make other people feel loved, right? In in
Right.
in the way that they resonate.
Hmm. I agree.
Um,
I I like Tim's question.
which one?
The one you're on,
Okay.
up on the screen.
So is the avatar kind of a reflection of you, or is it who you want to sell to, or is it a combination? You feel very connected to the person I just described, almost you exactly, right? So, so the interesting thing, Tim, I want to share this is everything I described, I've already been through. What I have done, I've been to a point though in a very deep depression, right? Because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I lost my sense of purpose to a point where I had flashes of putting a gun to my head, right? And I actually one day did hold a pistol to my head. It wasn't loaded, right? But it's just like that's how far the thought was going.
Hmm.
Okay.
Very deep.
Yeah. Yeah. What I did was I had to start looking inside of me. I didn't want to be in that anymore. That was painful, right? But it's all the different things that I explained. I've been through all that, right? And
Yeah.
so, but what I did, what I want you to do, Tim, Kate, everybody else, is look at yourself at the deeper level and say, why do I feel like that? What is you know, you got
Hmm.
there's three levels. There's three levels, right? There's the surface level. I don't have enough money, right? Then there's the second level, whatever it may be, and the third level is I'm scared of that CNC machine. I don't know how to sell a project. I don't know how to go after and build a business, whatever it may be. But that's not
Yeah.
even third level, right? Third level is what we talked about with her. She wants her thing back, right? She misses that
Mhm.
younger Ivanka, right? That's the
Yeah.
pain. She's who she is has been pushed aside, and she's really feeling that pain,
Hmm.
right? The guilt is
Yeah,
holding her back.
absolutely.
Mhm. So to Tim, your question, Tim, so is the avatar a reflection of who you are? So the best way to do it is to, yes, work on you, understand you, and you'll be able to understand the market. You can do an
Yeah,
avatar that
that's
is
hard.
not, yeah, you can do an avatar that is not you at all. But that requires you going out to do the research and finding people who do fit that niche. If I was going to create baby, baby signs on my CNC router, I don't understand what's moving a mom, so I got to go find them moms and talk to them like I'm talking to Kate until I get an understanding of
Yeah,
newborn mommy and her psychology. Once I have an
yeah,
understanding of that, then I can know how to make projects. Yeah, but then I have to know how to market to her, right? Because I can't come out
yeah,
on a video and say, "Hey, buy this baby thing." They're seeing this guy that's going, "You're a grandpa already. You don't get what I'm going through, right?" Uh,
yeah.
they can't connect that way.
And that's why you've been so successful in your business because you've connected with your avatar and you've
Hmm.
built connections with people. And
I, yep.
that's why
And very
I
honestly, I understand.
finally I finally understand. Like
Yeah,
I've understood a little bit before, but now I really understand like why it's
yeah.
so important.
So you get why we have to focus on one person now,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And you now understand why it's not ruling out the rest of your market.
Yeah.
Explain it
It's
to me.
why it's ruling out the rest of my
Why it's
market
not ruling out your market. Why? Let's just forget that question. Why did we do this avatar work? Why do we have to focus on one individual? What did you get out of it?
because I need to understand who I'm trying to draw to my business. That person, that woman that they need somebody to connect with. Someone that's either going to push them or to be gentle or whatever it is that they need that's inside of this avatar. Like you said, whether they need encouragement or they need a swift kick in the butt or they're intimidated, they need to hear someone else say, "Yes, I was there too. I understand." And I think that's where that connection is, Tim, is that it's a little bit in yourself, but it's also understanding someone else because business is not about you. It's about always about your customer. And that's where you have to transition your mindset is to your customer, not you.
Right. Okay. Well, we have gone on longer
I
than we've
know.
ever gone on. We are an hour, and we've got about 32 people, 37 people. So for those that
That's
have hung
good.
out, yeah, for those that have hung out,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, hats off to you, right? And like I said, I hope that you are
Thank you.
getting something. Kate, thank you for being vulnerable to, publicly. By doing that,
It's hard.
it is hard. But by doing that, it enables you to be vulnerable in what you do in the future that will bring more people to you because now you're becoming more of a real person, right? That's why I tell my stories, right? I'm a real
Yeah.
person out there. I'm having real pains. I'm having real memories. I miss seeing my grandkids. I only get to see them once a month or once every month and a half, right? And so I
Yeah.
want
That's
them to
hard.
remember me. I want them to remember me.
Well, of course they're going to remember you.
Well, we
They will.
always, retiring Ron is afraid that they will forget.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Yep.
I
So
can understand that.
let's see. Let's handle one more. If you're just at the bottom, Russell, if your avatar avatar. My avatar. Well, it's that second to last question. Can you sell him anything? He wants to make stuff, not buy it. You can sell him stuff to make the stuff that he wants to make. Now, you don't have to sell him projects, but you can sell him files, especially if he doesn't know what he's doing, right? You can teach him. All we have to do is be a step ahead of our avatar. One step. That's all you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone, CNC brothers and sisters, we are going to check out. And Kate, your head's going to be buzzing. Your job is to dig into her a little bit more. You've got her really well defined, right? It's not really digging in. It's letting this kind of process, because this is going to automatically, by doing what we did, automatically shift you.
Oh, I already feel it. I feel it in my brain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And so.
And it makes me feel like I know Ivanka. I mean, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing, you'll get this aha moment. You're going to like this. When you're reading a Facebook post in the Women Who CNC, and someone's going to say something, and you're going to read into that, and you're going to say, you know what the pain is. You're going to see her pain suddenly, because now you've identified it. You've identified it inside of yourself. You can empathize.
Oh, yeah. That's really big. It's powerful. Well, thank you all.
Yep. For those who are left, do your avatar work. Do your avatar work.
Well, thank you all again for staying with us and hanging out and watching this avatar work and listening to all of my pain. But also, I hope you are growing from that. And thank you to the ladies on the video. I hope you all found this inspirational in some way.
Hasta la vista. Till next Wednesday.
See ya.